Most people think fasting means skipping food for a few hours, but that's not fasting, that's inconvenience. Real fasting is supposed to hurt a little, not to punish you, but to free you. For most of history, believers fasted not to feel lighter, but to become stronger, spiritually, mentally, and morally. And tradition never taught just one kind of fast, it taught many, each aimed at a different weakness. Let's talk about the kinds of fasting almost no one practices anymore and why they matter now more than ever. Fasting is not about self improvement. It is not about health optimization. It is not about productivity. Fasting is an offering. You willingly give something up, not because it's evil, but because it's good. You choose God over that good thing. That distinction matters. Because sacrifice only means something when what you give up actually costs you. Tradition always understood fasting as training the will, teaching the body that it is not the master, teaching the soul to lead. That is why fasting is uncomfortable by design. Let's talk about the most obvious one, food fasting. This means fewer meals, smaller meals, or even simpler meals. Historically, fasting was not symbolic, it was concrete: bread, water, and plain food. No seasoning and no pleasure. The purpose was never starvation, it was dependence. Hunger exposes how quickly we reach for comforts. Every hunger pang becomes a moment of choice. Will I obey my appetite, or will I offer this discomfort for God? This kind of fasting humbles the body. It reminds us that we are not self sufficient. That is why food fasting has always been connected to repentance, preparation, and spiritual clarity. This is where many people should begin. You still eat, but you remove indulgence. No meat, no sweets, no alcohol, and no snacking. You function normally, but without pleasure. This kind of fasting is about restraint, not survival. It teaches you that joy does not come from stimulation, that pleasure is not the same as fulfillment. In a culture addicted to excess, partial fasting is radical. It trains you to say no without collapsing. This is one of the most neglected forms of fasting today, and one of the most necessary. You fast from noise, social media, endless scrolling, streaming, constant input. You reclaim that silence. This kind of fast is brutal because it exposes dependency. If you feel anxious without your phone, that is information. If you feel empty without constant stimulation, that is a sign something deeper is being avoided. Silence creates space for prayer, examination, and honesty. Most people avoid it because it simply reveals too much, and in my opinion, it is the hardest in today's times.
Creatus Pater in creatus Filius,
Closely
in
related but
creatus
different, this is
Filius
fasting from wasted time, sleeping excessively,
Intensus
procrastination,
Pater
aimless
immensus
habits. You wake up earlier than what
Filius,
you're normally used to. You
immensus
structure your
Spiritus
day. You give your first
Sanctus,
moments to prayer instead of comforts.
et creatus
Time is one of the
Pater
most
immensus
valuable things we have, and one of the most
Filius,
least sacrificed.
et
Offering
creatus
time is one of the
Spiritus
purest forms of
Sanctus.
fasting.
Domine, quid multiplicatis sunt qui
This is where
tribula,
fasting becomes physical again, but it's not about food. It's simply
uldixur
about stuff like cold showers,
vulgaresum
taking the harder path intentionally, avoiding luxury when it is available, but not to punish the body, rather to strengthen the will. Comfort makes us fragile. Discipline makes us resilient. This kind of fasting trains endurance, humility, and gratitude. It reminds us that suffering is not meaningless when chosen freely.
Gloria Patri et Filio,
This type of fasting is ancient and difficult. You fast from unnecessary speech, gossip, complaining, sarcasm, and judgments. You speak only what is necessary, truthful, and charitable. Silence disciplines the tongue and the heart. It forces you to comfort interior reactions instead of externalizing them. Few practices purify faster than this. This is the heart of all fasting. Without this, everything else is incomplete. You fast from sin itself. Not just actions, but patterns. Anger, lust, pride, resentment, and vanity. You simply watch your thoughts. You interrupt temptation early instead of entertaining it. This is where fasting stops being symbolic and becomes transformative. External fasting prepares you for this, and interior fasting helps by completing it.
ut sagitent in obscuro rectus
Fasting without prayer is simply just suffering. Prayer without fasting is weak, and together they form discipline. Fasting clears space, and prayer fills that space up. One humbles the body, and the other elevates the soul. This is why tradition never separated them.
Dominus in templo sancto
Modern
suo,
life trains us to avoid discomforts at all
Dominus
costs.
in cielo
Fasting trains us to choose meaning over comforts. It reminds us that freedom is not doing whatever we want. Freedom is simply wanting the right things. When the body learns obedience, the soul becomes lighter. That is the paradox of fasting.
interrogant filios.
If this video helped you understand fasting in a deeper and more serious way, please do subscribe. More videos like this are coming out, focused on discipline, sacrifice, and real faith. And if you want to support this work directly, you can support me on Buy Me a Coffee. It allows me to keep making content focused on substance and not trends. Let me know in the comments which type of fasting challenges you the most. May God bless you and Our Lady keep you.